You know those mornings that just disappear? The ones where you open your eyes, you grab your phone, and before you've even had your first sip of coffee, your brain feels like it is somehow already behind. And then there are those mornings, those rare ones, where you wake up calm, clear, maybe even a little bit inspired to do something a bit differently. You move with purpose, you eat something that actually makes you feel good and not guilty. You walk out the door grounded, ready to own the day. The difference between those two mornings is not luck. It is habits, tiny ones. And today I'm going to give you a handful of them. From the simplest, lowest effort, really lazy ones that anyone can start tomorrow, to the kind that make you feel like a Zen monk living in a productivity lab. Because mornings don't just set the tone of your day, they literally shape the chemistry of your brain, the direction of your focus, and the story you tell yourself about who you are. And I know this because, for a while, I got mornings completely wrong. Well, hello there, brave listener or viewer. I am Coach Bart. Welcome to Built Resilient, a podcast, a place where we don't just talk about becoming better, we build it, and we build it through small, practical human habits that actually last. If this is your first time here, welcome to the show. Thank you for finding us. Thank you for joining us on our mission to make this world a better place by developing your mental, physical, and emotional resilience. Do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button, hit that 5-star rating and review, particularly if you're on Apple Podcast. If you're on the app, find a way to hit that 5-star rating and really boost us up the algorithm. We're getting some awesome feedback and some awesome numbers. I want to keep this ball rolling to see how much impact we can have by making you and everyone else a better person. Now, without further ado, today we are talking about something that is relative to everyone, because everyone wakes up, and it's how you own that morning that will dictate the rest of your day. And then you do that every single day for the rest of your life, and I can guarantee you your life will be a different thing altogether. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about tiny habits that will change your morning. A few years back, I was deep into the self-development culture, the self-development sphere, and you know the kind, the 4:30 a.m. wake-ups, the early alarms, the ice bars, the green juices, the 27-step morning routine that made me feel like if I didn't journal, meditate, or salute to the sun, I'd somehow failed, not just in my day, but in my life. And it looked impressive on paper, it really did. My morning checklist was a work of art, but here is the truth. I wasn't building discipline. I was cultivating guilt. If I missed one single step, if I slept in, if the kids woke up early, if I just didn't feel like it, I would beat myself up for hours for the entire day. The routine that was supposed to empower me became another way to measure whether I was good enough. And eventually, I burned out. Not from work, but from perfection. And that's when I realized something that changed everything in my life. A routine that controls you isn't a routine. It's a cage. It's a trap. And when I understood this, I stripped it all back. I stopped chasing perfect mornings and started focusing on meaningful ones. Mornings that met me where I was, whether it was tired, messy, or just completely human, but still gave me a foothold to start the day strong. And that's what I want to give you today. Not the 27-step plan or system, but I want to give you a ladder. So wherever you are, whether it's just first trying to stop hitting the snooze or you're ready to master mindfulness, there is a rung on this ladder for you. I'm going to meet you where you are at. Here is why mornings matter more than you think. When you wake up, your brain and your body goes through a hormonal symphony that literally programs how you feel for the next 12 hours. The first to rise is cortisol. You may have heard of this before, often called the stress hormone. But it's actually your get up and go chemical. It actually gives you energy. It helps you feel alert, it helps you feel awake, and in a healthy rhythm, cortisol peaks about 30 minutes after waking. But If you flood that window with chaos, emails, doom scrolling, social media, rushing around, you turn that natural energy into anxiety. And then there's dopamine, the motivation molecule. This is littered in the zeitgeist at the moment. You get small hits of it when you check your phone or tick a box, do a task, but you also get it when you move your body, when you see sunlight, or complete a small meaningful task. And the difference between the two, phone dopamine is shallow. It's fleeting. Movement dopamine, it builds momentum, and that is what we're here to do. Remember, if we're starting from a place of stagnancy, even the slightest little push forward is momentum, and over time that momentum builds, and all of a sudden those habits become a lot easier. So through everything we go through today, understand that to change your life, we have to start small, and it will be uncomfortable, but trust me when I say it will get easier. Serotonin comes in next. This is your cool, grounded mood stabilizer hormone, and it's built in the same raw materials as melatonin, the sleep hormone, which means what you do in the morning literally determines how well you sleep that night. And then there's light. Morning light is the unsung hero of a very good day. It resets your circadian rhythm, it anchors your body clock, and it tells your brain it's time to rise. 10 minutes of sunlight in the morning, even indirect light, is one of the simplest ways to balance your energy, your mood, and indeed your sleep. So when we talk about morning habits, we're not talking about self-help fluff, stuff that sort of just lives in the ether. We're talking about biology. We're talking about your body. You're either working with your system or you are working against it. And look, if you're listening to this or watching this and you're like, Bart, no matter what I do in the mornings, I'm always tired. No matter what advice you give me, it's going to fall on deaf ears because I always wake up in a really bad mood. One thing I want you to understand is that you can change this. And it's all got to do with the way that you go to bed and indeed the way that you wake up. So we are talking about winning the mornings in terms of habits here, absolutely. But if you want to stop feeling so tired in the morning, if you want to start to protect your sleep at all costs like me and my family do, the best tip I can give you is to wake up at the same time every single day. I can tell you to black out your room at night. I can tell you to wear a nasal strip so you breathe through your nose. I can tell you to sleep in a cool room. Absolutely, all these things work. But from my experience, if you were just to do one thing to help your sleep and help your mornings, just wake up at the same time. And this is the same on weekends. And hey, if you want to sleep in for an extra half hour on the weekend, that's okay. But if you sleep in for 1, 2, 3 hours, you're giving yourself jet lag. And you're going to make that Monday morning wake up just as hard as it always is. Okay, team. Let's rumble. Let's get into it. I call this the morning habit ladder. It is 5 rungs, 5 steps. Each one builds on the last. Start wherever you are right now and climb whenever you are ready. Rung number 1 is the ground floor. I want you to win the wake up, win that moment. If you do nothing else, do this. When your alarm goes off, get up and do not hit snooze. Not because it's hardcore, not because it's tough, but because it's symbolic. Every time you hit snooze, you are practicing hesitation. Every time you get up, you are practicing momentum. And this isn't necessarily about self-discipline. It's about self-trust. You told yourself you would get up, and you did. That's a win before you've even had breakfast. Then, before your brain gets hijacked, grab a glass of water. Hydration wakes you up faster than caffeine. Controversial. Look, your brain is 75% water, and after 8 hours of none of it, your body is begging for it. This is your base. Don't underestimate this start. Don't underestimate this rung of the ladder. Rung number 2, I like to call the reset. This is all about light. This is all about breath. And this is all about movement, not necessarily a workout. Now that you are up, it's time to tell your body that the day has begun. I want you to step outside if you can, or at least get some natural light through a window, 10 minutes minimum. This resets your circadian rhythm, it boosts your serotonin, and it primes dopamine. And while you're there, I want you to take 5 slow breaths. In through your nose for 4, hold for 2, and out for 6. That single minute of deliberate breathing can drop your stress hormone by up to 20%, some studies say, a significant amount just through breathing. And then I want you to move. I don't want you to do a workout unless you're like that. I just want movement. I want you to stretch. I want you to walk. I want you to do 10 push-ups if you're up for it. Whatever makes you feel awake and gets that blood flowing. Think of this stage as like hitting start on your internal operating system. You're aligning your body and your brain, your physiology and your mentality. And look, with this rung number 2, you don't need to be so dogmatic about it. If you get outside and eat your breakfast at the same time, that is a step forward. That is progress. And then at the end of your breakfast, you do a bit of breathing, you do a bit of stretching. Hey, you go for a quick 5-minute walk to help with your digestion. That is going to start you off, literally on the right foot. And I want to jump in right here before we get to rung number 3 and say, hey, even if you just do rung number 1 and a bit of rung number 2, congratulations, you are head and shoulders above most other people in this world for starting your day and bettering your life. We don't need to go for the holy monk enlightenment level, rung number 5, but even 1.5 rungs or 1 or 2 rungs is progress. And for most of you, to put it bluntly, we're probably going to stay here. And that's great. That's awesome. Because that's progress, and if we execute rung number 1 and rung number 2, getting up and not snoozing, and then getting outside, having a bit of intention to our breath, if we just do that, and we do it with a relentless consistency, you will wholesale change your health, both mentally and physically. Rung number 3 is the anchor. This is all about setting your direction. And this is the rung where most people skip straight to productivity, straight to getting into their day. But this is where meaning actually starts. I want you to take 1 minute and I want you to ask yourself, who do I want to be today? Not what do you want to achieve, but who do you want to be? What sort of person do you want to be? And if you want to be patient, remind yourself. If you want to be focused, write it down. And if you want to be kind, visualize one way that you will live that today. This habit rewires, very nerdy word coming up, your reticular activating system, your RAS. This is the part of your brain that filters reality. I want you to tell it what matters, and it'll show you more of it during your day. It's similar to when you buy a red car and all of a sudden you see red Mazdas everywhere. If we keep showing up for this part of our brain, showing up for our mentality, all of a sudden it will become your default. It's the same with your internal thoughts. I'm gonna really harp on this every single day for the rest of my life. But if we all of a sudden do start talking to ourselves better, more positively, that will become our default, and it will show up in your reality, the way that you converse with other people. It'll show up into your perception of hard things in your life. You'll all of a sudden become a more positive person because you think it, because you live it inside your head. And it's all about telling that part of your body, your RAS, that this is reality, and this is how I live, and this is how I should feel. And with this step, you're not planning your day. You're not saying, here's my list, let's tick it off. You're simply programming your mind. And rung number 4 is where some action starts to happen. I call this rung the builder. And it's 5 minutes of growth. This is where the self-development nerd in you can come out, if you can stick to it, of course. And once you've set your tone in rung number 3, I want you to feed your mind. I want you to feed that perception. I want you to spend 5 minutes doing something that stretches you. I want you to read a page of a book. I want you to listen to a short podcast. Maybe it's this one. I want you to journal just a single thought, write something down, or just sit quietly and notice your breath. And look, the goal here isn't volume. It is, once again, momentum. You're reminding yourself that you are a learner, not just a doer. When I was obsessed with my perfect routine, I'd fill this slot with far too much, almost like a robot. I'd journal, I'd do affirmations, I'd do visualizations, I'd meditate, I'd do gratitude lists, and I'd do it all at once. But now, I just pick one, and I do it really, really well, and really, really presently, really, really mindfully. Because the best habit is the one that you'll actually do. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to start small. I want you to start ridiculously small and own it. every single day. And then rung number 5, this is the enlightened level. This is the serve before you scroll level. And this is the top of the ladder. This is the habit that changes how you see yourself. Before you open your phone, before you check any notifications, do one thing that serves your future self or someone else. I want you to make your bed. I want you to leave a note for your partner. I want you to send an encouraging text to a friend. I want you to prepare mindfully and presently your breakfast. Serving before scrolling, it flips the script. It tells your brain, I'm the kind of person who adds value before I just take and consume. Your identity shift, this identity shift, it's the real prize of good habits. You start all of a sudden to trust yourself. Now, team, let's be honest here for just a second. You are not going to nail all 5 of these rungs of the ladder all at once. It doesn't work like that. And to be honest, that's not the goal. The goal here initially is awareness. Because mindful habit creation isn't about adding more rules. It's not about being strict. It's about adding more intention, adding more presence in your life. So I want you to ask yourself, does this habit serve who I want to become? Does this start of the ladder serve the person that I want to be? Does it energize me? Or does it drain me? Is it a chore? Am I chasing perfection or creating peace? If it does feel like punishment, this is not a habit. It's ego wearing a fitness tracker. So I want you to start with one rung. And I want you to get it solid. I want you to own it. And then I want you to add another. It's similar to going to the gym. If you have never been to the gym before and you say to yourself, my fit mate tells me I should go to the gym 5 times a week, so I'm going to do that. I can guarantee you 99.99992% of the time you will not go to the gym 5 times a week in a few weeks' time. It doesn't work like that. However, the advice, and this is particularly poignant for New Year's resolutions, is start with 1. I want you to go to the gym 1 time a week. I don't even care what you do. I want you to go. I want you to do that every single week until it becomes an absolute, utter, unforgettable habit. And once you've owned it, then we can add that second day on. And then we can add that third. It is the same with the rungs of this habit ladder. Start at rung number 1. Don't let the ego get a hold of you. Don't jump straight to journaling your internal thoughts. I want you to start with just not hitting snooze. Start small and build momentum. The funny thing is that you'll be shocked how quickly your mornings start to feel different if indeed you do it with consistency. They'll feel calmer. They'll feel lighter, and you'll feel like you're under more control throughout your day. So my Built Resilient fam, here is your challenge for this week. I want you to pick your rung. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My recommendation is number 1. And if you are just starting out, do that. Pick number 1 and win the wake up. And hey, if you're already consistent, if you're already drinking the morning Kool-Aid, I want you to start by anchoring your mindset. Start at rung number 2 or number 3. If you're chasing mastery, serve before you scroll. Jump to number 5 and let's go, baby. Because the goal isn't to have the perfect morning. It's not. It doesn't exist. It's to have a morning that serves you and will serve you for the rest of your life. So you remember my old routine, the one that looked impressive, the 27 steps I had every single morning? I still do some of those habits. I do. But now they're rooted in awareness and not obsession. If I don't do one, I don't beat myself up. And that's what resilience really looks like. It's not rigidity. It's adaptability. It's the ability to flex under stress. Your mornings are your daily reset button. Use your mornings to choose who you'll be before the world decides for you. Team, my name is Bart Walsh. I'm a motivational speaker. I am a fitness expert, and this is Built Resilient. I want you to go out and I want you to win your morning. I want you to win it one habit at a time. And one way that you can help me win my morning today is to hit subscribe. Hit subscribe on whatever platform you're listening this to on. Give us a 5-star rating and review on Spotify or Apple. If you've come a number of times and this is your 5th episode in, 2nd episode in, join the family and let's make this a revolution and not just a flash in the pan. If you want to reach me, you can. Write into hello@bartwalsh.com.au. Write me your questions, write me your comments, write me your feedback. I'd love to know more about you and what you're struggling with in your life so that I can serve you before I scroll. Ladies and gentlemen, remember to choose resilience.